I remember we did a Q&A. I was completely blown away because it was an older white guy who stood up and was like, how accurate is the interaction between the white people and the black people? And I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you serious? Like, this is still happening today. I mean, they might not make you leave out the back of the store, but they also might not let you in. Mudbound is a post-World War II story about two families, a white family and a black family, who both build each other up and tear each other down. And you see the parallels between the two lives and how much we have to coexist as people. With everything being on the surface here with these two families, and by being non-biased, it just shows you both sides. It's sort of this feeling of empathy for both sides. You don't have to choose. And like when you get finished with the movie, you're not like, oh my God, I just want to punch somebody in the face. Like, you don't feel like that. You know what I mean? It's not like watching Roots for the first time where you're like, you know what? I'm not going outside for a week because I might have a problem. I could be at the grocery store and it could pop off. You know, you don't have that feeling. You feel very understanding of both sides. And once both sides start to sort of fight for each other, you know, especially the women, the way they fight for their families, that's amazing.
I learned how to stitch up a bleeding wound, load and fire a shotgun, reach into the womb of a heaving sow to deliver a breached piglet.
When I first read the character, I was pretty stoked, you know, because he never put his head down. He had like a sort of militance about him that was great. And even though he went through all the things that he went through, he still like chose love to be the thing that he chose to latch onto. And most black men in his situation wouldn't have said anything. And that's the reason why they stayed alive. You know, my grandfather was one of those guys. He fought in the Korean War, came home, and he would keep his opinion to himself. You know what I mean? So it was cool to kind of be able to play both sides and be this really big voice for a lot of black men.
When we was overseas, they didn't make us use the back door. General Patton put us on the front line. Yes, sir. And you know what we did? We kicked the hell out of Hitler and them Jerry's. While y'all at home, safe and sound.
It was sort of weird because the guys who I was in the scene with were more uncomfortable. Like Jonathan Banks was like, look, I don't know how many times we have to shoot this, but I got like 3 more of these. I can't just look in his face and keep saying this. Like he was one of the guys during the lynch scene that really cried. And he was like, how are people doing this to each other? Like, whoever is doing this is a monster, seriously. And we couldn't have had a nicer guy play Pappy to say he was like a super villain by the end of the movie. Like, those guys really had a hard time doing that. And it made me feel cared about. It made me feel loved. So even though they were dropping these N-bombs straight to my face, or, you know, making me feel very uncomfortable in the scene, they made me feel very comfortable outside of it, and it was all love. So we felt safe enough to be able to do it. You know, like we hugged it out most of the time afterwards just because Dee sort of created this vibe. And I'd work with her any day. Anything she needs from me, she can get.